Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Taylor Nicholson and this is my beauty space. So today I did this super beautiful green halo eye look and I am so excited with how it turned out. And I am just dying for these colors. They are so beautiful. I'm not a big fan of Laura Lee right now, but these eyeshadows are still good no matter what. So if you guys like this look and you want to see how I got it, then please keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like this video and all of that. And let's get right into it. Okay, so before I begin my makeup, I'm going in with this Neutrogena Hydra Boost Water Gel. And it's a really good moisturizer. It has hyaluronic acid in it, so it really tightens your skin and it really moisturizes. And I love using this before I do my makeup. Now for primer, I'm going in with my NYX Angel Veil Primer, and I love this primer. It's really smoothing, and I feel like every time I use this, my foundation, no matter what foundation that I use, looks so much better because it just gives you a flawless base, and it's just such a good primer, especially for the price. Okay, so for foundation, I'm going to go ahead and go in with the Maybelline Super Stay Long Wearing Foundation. And I love this foundation. It's super full coverage. It's supposed to have a 24-hour wear. I mean, I've never worn it for 24 hours, but it would probably last. I really love this foundation because, like I said, it is very full coverage, but it is lightweight and it doesn't feel like you have a lot of foundation on your skin, so that is always a positive. And as always with your foundation, always make sure that you really get down your jawline and then around your ears and around the hairline. Just because usually our faces are not the same shade as our foundation, just because, you know, faces tend not to tan as well because of all the exfoliation and stuff. So you always want to make sure that you're blending your foundation in everywhere so that you do not have a harsh line. So now for concealer, I'm going in with my Sephora Bright Future Gel Serum Concealer. And I really like this stuff because it's really lightweight, but it also builds really well. So I feel like you could wear this on an everyday basis, or if you wanted to do like a really full glam look, you could build this up and it will be really beautiful. And this product is also infused with pineapple extract, so it also like tightens your skin, it improves your skin texture, and it brightens your skin, and it's just such a good concealer. And of course, I'm putting this in all of the places that I want to highlight and bring light to, and I am blending this in with my beauty blender. So now I'm going in with the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. I'm going in with the shade Rose Gold, which is just a really warm, kind of pearly, pinky bronze. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply this to all of the places in my face that I want to highlight. I'm applying it to the cheekbones, the chin, cupid's bow, and nose, and above my eyebrows. And I am just using my finger to apply this. I like applying this with my fingers because I feel like my fingers warm up the product and it blends in a little bit better. And I do go in with my beauty blender to blend out the edges to make sure there's no harsh lines or anything. So now, before I set my eyes, I do go in and just get out all of the creases that may have appeared, because I'm a creasy mess. Like, no matter what, I always crease, so I have to go back in and blend a little bit. And then once I get all of those blended out, I am going in with my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder, and I'm taking out my Beauty Blender, which is still just a little bit damp, and I'm really pressing this into the under eye area. And as you can see, I am avoiding where we put that liquid highlighter because I don't want to just go over top of it and dull it down. So I am avoiding the highlight area. I'm just really setting down underneath my eyes where I could get creasy, and then the very inner corner of the eyes. And this is also going to give you a really brightened effect as well. And then for today, I don't know why I wanted to set my eyelids though, so I went in and blended out to the creases in my eyelids, and then took that same translucent powder and set my eyelids down. And I did put some of these little Cover FX drops like above my eyebrow and then on my brow bone. So I'm trying to avoid that area as well because, like I said earlier, we do not want to cover it up. We still want that area to be nice and bright and glowing. And then I'm also taking some of this translucent powder and baking right on my smile lines, just because my smile lines always crease really bad. So I always just take some powder and really press it in that area to set my foundation down and to make sure that I have no creasing throughout the day. So to start the eyeshadow, I'm going in with a Sonia Kashuk blending crease brush, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up MFEO and Silk Cream from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe, the original palette. And these are just two really beautiful transition shades. They're kind of like tan toffee shades. So I am just taking both of these and I'm mixing them together, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in my transition area. So your transition area is the area on your lid between your crease and your eyebrow bone, and I always like to start out with putting a light shade there just so that all of our crease shades have something to blend into and it won't make your makeup look as harsh, and in the end applying a shade like this will make your makeup blend out so much better. And as you can see, I am taking this from inner corner to outer corner. Since this is going to be a halo eye, I really do want some pigment in that inner corner so that it is not too harsh later on. So to start off all of the colors, I'm going in with the Laura Lee Party Animal Pressed Pigment Palette. I'm going in with the shade Damage Control, which is this really beautiful light ocean blue shade, and I'm in love with this shade. It looks a little bit green whenever you kind of like try and blend it out and put it in the crease, so I did have to apply quite a bit to get the blue feel that I was really wanting, but I did just go in little by little and just keep applying this shade into the crease area just to make sure that I got the color pigmentation that I wanted. And as you can see, putting that transition shade on before all of this really does help this blend out into the skin. I love using transition shades, especially with colorful looks like this, because it makes your life so much easier. So as you can see, I am going from inner to outer corner with this shade, just like I did with the transition color. Just because, like I said before, this is going to be a halo eye look, so I really want color in the inner corner, because I don't want the inner corner to be blank, and I do not want it to look unblended or patchy or anything like that. And whenever I'm applying this shade, I am switching back and forth from windshield wiper motions to circular motions just to make sure that I get the most blending that I possibly can. This shade is a bright blue, so obviously it's a little bit harder to blend out, but I just really try to take my time, go in little by little to build it up, and just really blend at the edges to make sure I have a nice soft effect. So now I'm switching to a Real Techniques Tapered Crease brush, and I am taking the darker blue shade, which is Karaoke. And I'm going to go ahead and take Karaoke and put it a little bit deeper into the crease than I did the other shade. The other shade I kind of put in the whole entire crease. This I'm going to keep in the lower part of the crease, almost right at the eyelid, but I don't want to bring this too far down onto the lid because we do want to leave the lid space a little bit blank for the bright green we're going in with later. And this shade, just like the light blue, is very pigmented, so I went in little by little just to make sure that I wasn't overdoing it and to make sure that I could get everything blended out. And also, I'm still switching back and forth between windshield wipers and circular motions. I'm kind of using the windshield wiper motions to get the color put down, and then going in and doing circular motions to blend it out into the light blue. but I do not want to blend this up too high because I still want to see the light blue in the crease. I want this to have a nice transition effect, and I want everything to be seen and all the colors to be really, really pigmented. And once I get that dark blue as pigmented as I want, I am just going to go back in with that other brush and the light blue shade, and I am just blending at the edges to really make sure that we don't have any harsh lines and to make sure both of these blues can be seen. And then, of course, I had to go back in with a little bit more of the dark blue just to touch it up a little bit because I do want the crease to be a little bit darker than in my transition area. So I did need a little bit more depth in there since we blended out so much. So I am just going back in and applying a little bit more of this blue, and then I will blend out the edges with the light blue a little bit more just until I get the intensity and the color payoff that I want. So now I'm going back in with the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. I'm going with the shade Enchanted, which is this really beautiful dark emerald green shade. I'm taking this on a Morphe M506, which is just a really, really nice, beautiful brush. I'm in love with this brush. It's really pointy and it's a little bit long, so it's really, really easy to get right into your crease area, and that's exactly what I'm doing with this. I am taking that dark green and I'm going directly into my crease, and as you can see, I am not trying to get this too high or too low. I'm going directly into my eye socket from inner corner to outer corner because I want to create that depth. So once I get that green applied, I am just going to go ahead and go back in with that royal blue shade on that Real Techniques brush. And I am just blending this shade at the edge of that green because I want the blue to still be really pigmented in that area. And I also do not want this green to be that harsh. I want to blend out the edges so it fades into this royal blue. And then I went back in with that really light sea blue shade, and I'm going to go ahead and blend all around the edges of this eye look. And as you can see, I'm literally taking this shade like up onto the brow bone, but it's okay because we're going to clean up the brows in a little bit with concealer. So I'm just blending as high up as I can go to make sure that this look is really blown out and super blended and super smooth. And I'm also taking this and going in the inner corners as well, just to make sure there's no harshness in there, and to make sure that we really have some blue and the green just meshing really well in the inner part. And now I'm just going to take a little bit more of this light blue, and I'm going right along the edges of the eyes, and I'm just going to go ahead and start blending this out. As I said before, I want this to be super, super blown out, so this is going to be like, this eyeshadow look's going to take up like a third of our face, so be prepared for intense blending. So now I'm going back in with the Laura Lee palette, and I'm taking the shade It's a Party, which is this really pretty greenish yellow shade. I'm taking this on a Morphe small shadow brush. I believe it's a 222. If that's not right, everything will be linked in the description box below as usual. So I am taking this It's a Party shade, and I am literally putting this all over the lid. And as you can see, I left the very middle part of my lid blank, so it's more pigmented in that area, and then it kind of blends out as I put it over the blues. So I am just taking this and putting it literally all over the lid, and I'm going back in a couple times to make sure that it's pigmented, because this shade is like so bright that I want it to be bright. I want it to be super pigmented on the lid, and I want this to be the main focus of this eyeshadow look. And next, I'm going back in with that dark green enchanted shade from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. I'm going back in with that little Morphe brush we were using earlier, the long skinny one. And I'm just taking that green shade and I'm just going to go ahead and put this on the outer and inner corners of the lids. Like I said, this is going to be a halo eye look. So this is where we start creating the halo eye. And if you don't know what that is, it's where you put a dark eyeshadow in the inner and outer part of your eyelid, and then you have a really bright in the middle, and it's just kind of like it brings attention to the middle part of your lid instead of having a winged liner and having your eyes look cat-like. This kind of makes your eyes look a little bit more open, and it brings more attention to the colors on your lid rather than a cat eye. So I am taking this green shade, and I'm being really sure to pack this on because I want a difference, like a really distinct difference between the dark green and that light green. So I am taking this, I'm putting it in the outer corner, the inner corner, I am bringing it out into the outer V, I am taking more into the crease. I am just really wanting to make sure this green is really pigmented. I love doing halo eyes like this because I feel like using a really light color and then a really dark color to contrast really brings attention to your eyes, and it makes the eye look like so much more interesting and so much more intriguing to me. And then of course, whenever I'm done with that, I have to go back in with that dark royal blue shade some more just to blend at the edges because I felt like this blue shade kind of went away. So I wanted to touch up that area and make sure that the blue was really there and was really visible. And I also wanted to blend out that green shade. So once again, I am taking this from inner corner to outer corner, just going in with circular motions, windshield wiper motions, just to blend out that area, make sure that blue is super pigmented. Then, of course, I had to go back in with that light blue and blend some more. Y'all know I'm like the blending queen. I just have to make sure everything is super blended. And then I did end up taking a little bit of that light blue and putting it right between that dark green and light green on the lid. I just felt like I needed a little bit of a transition color in there. So before I reapplied that light green, I went ahead and took that light blue and just applied it everywhere. And I tried to keep the very center of the lid blank, where we're going to reapply that dark or the light green here in just a second. And then, like I said, we're going back in with that same, it's a party shade, with that same small shadow brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and reapply this to the center part of the lid, just to reapply that pigmentation and make this color really stand out. And then I just took that other little brush we applied all the other shades with, and I just kind of like tapped along the edges with that light blue, just to make sure everything was blended and there was no harsh lines. I did want this light green to be the focus of everything, but I wanted it to be really blended as well. I did not want it to look harsh. I wanted everything to seem very blended together and just go together very well. Sorry, you guys, I cannot talk today. And now I'm literally just going back and forth between that light green and that blue shade just to blend and make sure we have good pigmentation, make sure there are no harsh lines, just going back and forth until I am satisfied. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the lower lash line. I am taking that dark green Enchanted shade, and I am just going to go ahead and run this underneath the lower lash line, but I am taking this only on the outer corner. I am not bringing this in any farther than like a third of the way in. I am trying to keep the middle part and the inner part of the lower lash line blank for the other shades. And now I'm going in and taking the royal blue shade from that palette, and I am just packing this onto the inner part of my lower lash line. I wasn't sure how this was going to look, but I just thought it added such a pretty pop of color to the look. I am obsessed with this. So as you can see, I am not being light-handed with this. I am like really packing this blue shade on, mostly because we're gonna still go in and blend a little bit, and I know I'm gonna have to reapply it, but I do want this color to be really pigmented, just like this. I want that royal blue to be super bright on the inner corner. And then, of course, I had to go right back in with that royal blue shade and some of the light blue shade mixed together and just blend out the lower lash line to make sure there are no harsh lines. I am going to go ahead and blend out everything because I will go back in and reapply in a little bit, but I want to make sure that this is super smoky and super blended out. As you can see, I am going real hard with blending this lower lash line. I am bringing this lower lash line down so far, like, it honestly goes into my highlight on the edges, and I don't even care because I wanted a blown out eye today. So I am not being shy about it. I'm not being careful about it. I am just blending away at the lower lash line. If this is scary to you, I totally understand. You can just go for like a simple blown out lower lash line. Just do you, but today I'm going in and I am blending down into my blush. It's happening. And now I am actually going to go ahead and take some of the really light green shade, the It's a Party shade, and I'm just going to pack this on the very middle of my lower lash line, just to create the same effect that we did on the top lash line. I really want to mirror that on the bottom. Then I'm just going back in and reapplying that really bright blue shade because it did get blended away. So I'm just reapplying that so that it is super pigmented. I'm switching to a little Ecotools liner smudge brush, and I am taking that dark green shade, and I'm going to go ahead and start smudging this back into the lower lash line, the outer part of it, just to re-intensify that color and make sure that green is super pigmented and super visible. Oh, sorry you guys, I don't know what is up with me today. I cannot talk. I keep getting tongue twisted, and it's really irritating. And as you can see, I am taking that green kind of up into the top lid just to connect the outer corner with the lower lash line, just to really make everything connect together and look really seamless. Then, of course, I had to go back in and blend the light green and the dark green and the blue all together. Make sure there's no harsh lines. Retouch any colors. I am just going back and forth and making sure everything looks super flawless. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the face. I'm going with this Revlon Photo Ready Bronzer. And I have no idea like when I got this bronzer, but it is like discontinued apparently because I can't find it anywhere, but it's super good. I love it. It's one of my favorites. So I'm taking that on an Ecotools Complexion brush, and I am just taking this and putting it underneath the cheekbones, around the forehead, around the temples, and then around the jawline, just to give my face some more structure and to bring some color back into my face. I am mostly bronzing today. I'm not really contouring. I am going to go in a little bit and just kind of clean it up to make the line a lot more sharp. But I am not really contouring. Just going in with a light bronzer because I want to keep most of the focus onto the eyes. But before I moved on to my face, I went ahead and did a little itty bitty thin winged liner, and then I threw on some lashes. These are the Ardell Faux Mink. I think they're like the 817s, something like that. Everything will be listed in the description box below as usual. But I applied those, and then I did my brows as well off camera just to save some time. Then for blush, I went in with this Lorac blush in the shade Prism. It's just a really pretty peachy, pinky blush. And I thought that it would go really, really pretty with this eye look. So I'm not applying too much, just a normal amount of blush today. I did not want to go too overboard, but I also wanted to have something on my cheeks so that this eye look did not wash me out. And the brush that I'm using to apply this is the Hoola bronzing brush, but I just like to use it for blush. And now I'm going in with this Wet n Wild highlighter, and y'all, I had not tried these before, but like I got 2 of them, and I'm an idiot because I can't remember what shade this was, but it will be in the description box if you guys really, really want to know, because I cannot remember right now. But these are so pretty. I got like the bronzy one, and then I got a pinky one. I'm using the bronzy one today, but it's kind of like it's like a champagne bronze. It's just, I don't know, it's so pretty, and I am so into it. I did not think they were going to be good because they were so cheap, but like, look at that glow. I know the liquid highlight we put on earlier really, really helped out because we were already glowing, but this highlight on top is just like blinding, you guys. I honestly don't even think the camera was doing it justice, because in person, I swear to God, my highlight was so pretty. And I am putting this all over the place as we put that liquid highlighter, and I'm just using an e.l.f. highlighting brush to do this. And then once I get all of that done, I am just going to go ahead and bake underneath my bronzer. I am just taking that same Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder that we used to set the under eyes. And I'm going to go ahead and take that on my Beauty Blender once again. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this underneath my bronzer to clean up that area and to really give our cheekbones some structure. Then for lips, I'm going with the Lipstick Queen lip liner in the shade Nude. And I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with this. As you can see, I was having like some real issues lining my lips. I have no idea what was up with me, but like, I don't know. I was just having some real problems. So once I get that done, I'm going in with the Stila Stay All Day Liquid Lipstick in the shade Carmelo. You guys know this is like my favorite nude lipstick. It is just so pretty. I love it so much. I would wear this every single day if I could, but you know, I'll probably get really bored with it. So I only break it out every now and then to keep the excitement alive. Then to top that off, I'm going in with the Buxom lip gloss in the shade Celeste. And as you can see, I'm kind of tapping this down on the lips. I'm not trying to swipe it around because this lip gloss is really, really thick. And I feel like whenever I swipe it around, it kind of takes my lipstick off. So there's a tip: if you buy this lip gloss, tap it. Do not wipe it onto your lips. Then I'm going to go ahead and go in and wipe away that baking powder to reveal our nice, clean, sharp line. Then I'm going in with the shade Beam from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. It is just this really pretty, like, yellow-based white highlighting shade. I actually really like this shade for a face highlighter as well, but it's a beautiful inner corner highlight. That is what I use it for the most. I use this in my inner corner like at least 3 times a week. It's so good and it's so bright. So how I like to do my inner corner is I like to go in with a brush first, and then I will take my pinky finger and just kind of go in and tap like in the very, very inner corner to intensify it so that the brush kind of like blends it out a little bit, but your finger really, really applies a lot of product, so it just gives you this super bright inner corner. And now to set everything into place, I'm going with the Morphe setting spray and just giving myself a good little douse. And then this is my finished video, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I love using really pretty blues and greens. They're my favorite colors to experiment with. So I was super excited about how this turned out. And if you guys like this video, as always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you hadn't already. Turn on your post notifications so you never miss one of my videos. And if y'all liked this, then I guess I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.